Hello guys, Standing Simmer here today, and we are back for an apartment renovation in The Sims 4. Not sure exactly why I said Sims 4 as in, there would be a question as to what I would be playing today because of course it's The Sims 4. But anyways, we are renovating an apartment because, I don't know, I just kind of felt like doing another one. I mentioned this in my last apartment renovation, but I just really, really enjoy renovating apartments because for one thing, they're pretty quick compared to the size of a house. They don't take a lot of your time. And they can be a lot of fun to mess with since there are so many different kinds of apartments in San Myshuno that are available. So I find myself gravitating toward them a lot when I'm just wanting to kind of, put some ideas down in build form, I guess you could say. So that's what we're doing today. I was particularly inspired in this build by spring. So I've been seeing a lot of spring videos here recently. There are some like spring create a sims and probably some other builds and just things like that that have been going up all over YouTube because for most of the world, springtime is, right here upon us. And I was really wanting to build something that just had these like bright pops of color. So I didn't build this with any like set color palette in mind. Honestly, my mindset going into this was more, I'm just going to throw a bunch of color in this apartment and just hope that it looks nice when I'm all, done with it. So that's kind of what we did today. I am building this in Penny Pizzazz's apartment, which is 131221 Chic Street, I believe. I actually Googled that right before I started this voiceover because I didn't want to have to boot up my game and double check in the world, but I also wanted to be able to tell you guys where it is. So if I've got the exact address wrong, I'm sorry, but it is Penny Pizzazz's apartment over in the Fashion District. This is a really fun apartment to renovate, and I know that I'm definitely not the only person that thinks that, but it's just such a nice size, especially when you're building for a single sim or possibly a couple, because the apartment itself isn't really all that big, but it's big enough that you can fit a lot of stuff in it and make it look really, really nice. So that's why I like to choose this one. This is almost certainly not the last time you'll be seeing me renovate this apartment. Sorry guys, I just got interrupted there again for a second. See, I think I've mentioned before, at least a couple of videos ago, that I am married, so I of course live with my husband. And we have this system on days where we would both happen to be home at the same time and when I'm planning on recording. So he goes to like the man cave area, AKA the basement, and just kind of messes around for a while. But on occasion, he has to come back to the house and grab something real quick. And he's always like really, really apologetic because whatever it is important enough for him to, take the time to come into the house while he knows I'm recording. So anytime I hear him coming through our back porch, I just stop the recording and we pick up from there after he's gone. So he's gone now, guys. We can pick back up with the recording. So like I was saying, I really wanted to bring spring vibes into this apartment. I was planning on decorating with like these kind of random pops of color that I hoped would look okay in the end when all put together. And honestly, when I was building this apartment, which granted was a couple of days ago now, I don't exactly remember what I did where, like just to a fine degree. But I remember that when I was building it, I was kind of like, I like this. It's different. I've definitely never really done anything like this before. It's okay. But then the next day when I booted the game back up and moved my sim self in to like take the screenshots and such, I remember looking at it and thinking, this is actually a really cute apartment. So when I went from not really thinking I would necessarily like want to play in it in my own game, now I'm kind of more of the mindset that, I would totally put a sim down in this apartment. I really like it a lot. Here where I live, we, like I said, are coming into springtime as most of the world is. And where I live, the weather can be fairly variable. So even though here at the time of this recording, we're in the first week of April, the effects of winter have not yet left us. So there have still been quite a few cold days, especially this week. In fact, I think it snowed one day a little earlier this week, which isn't really all that uncommon, I guess, when you've just begun springtime. But at this point in the season, I'm kind of thinking I'm so ready for winter to be over. I want sunshine and daisies and green grass just sprouting up all over the place. So thankfully, today has been a gorgeous day. I know I don't want to take up the entire voiceover talking about the weather, but it's kind of what inspired me to want to do this particular voiceover today. So that's what we're doing. But today specifically where I live, they were forecasting like a ton of snow and really, really cool temperatures. And everyone all week has been bemoaning, oh, it's going to be such a, it's going to be such a cold, snowy weekend. And I'm actually recording this on a Saturday, by the way. But this morning when I woke up, there was a little bit of snow on the ground, but it went away really, really quickly because the sun came out, and now the temperatures are gorgeous. Like, this has turned into a kind of a surprise spring day, and it makes me really happy. I've been outside as much as possible today, just kind of soaking in the sun. And like I said, it kind of inspired me to want to do this voiceover today because it fit really well with the theme. And I don't know, it has me excited for springtime. So I hope that wherever you are, the weather is at least becoming nicer if it's not already fairly nice. And that you'll soon be able to enjoy all the lovely that spring can provide. Or if perhaps I have a viewer or two that is on the other side of the world and you're just coming into fall, then hey, that's my favorite season. So I'm kind of jealous. I love fall too. So yeah, good times. So let's see, there was something I wanted to tell you guys about. Oh, okay. I got my hair cut the other day, and this is kind of random. Typically, I don't deviate from talking about the build too much, but I wanted to tell you guys this because just in case, like, I would happen to throw a picture up on Twitter or something like that, P.S., follow me over on Twitter, at standingsimmer. So if I would happen to throw up a picture over there, you wouldn't be like, but Mariah, your sim self has much longer hair than what you actually have in real life, it looks like. And that was the case up until just a few days ago. I've been wanting shorter hair for a while, and before my hair came down like kind of just past where my shoulders are, kind of down to like the base of my shoulder blades roughly. And now it sits atop my shoulders, and I have not had hair so short in quite a long time. I've always had relatively long hair. But here recently, like with my job and my schedule and things, I never found myself really enjoying having longer hair. I always felt like if I had shorter hair, it'd be a little easier to keep up with and to fix and things like that, So I got it cut the other day, and I love it so much. Like, it has, I don't know, it feels like, I don't know, we're talking about spring in this build. Spring is the time for new beginnings. I kind of feel like I've had a little bit of a new beginning, and it makes me happy. So I wanted to share that with you guys. We're just working on the bedroom now as far as the apartment goes. This is one of my favorite rooms in the apartment. I started off the build pretty early on by placing down that bed, which is of course the City Living bed with the purple and the yellow swatches. And that was one of those things that kind of like set the tone for the apartment for me. Now, while you might not see those colors too many other places in the apartment besides the bedroom, it's still just such a pretty bed, and so it fit really well with this theme that I was going for, that I was like, yes, that is the bed for this apartment. And surprise, surprise, here in just a second, boom, there are the fairy lights that I have been using so much here recently. Emmy Sims, I know, has been using them a lot in her builds as well. And of course, Kiwi Simming has been just throwing them up everywhere. I think it's one of those things that here in a little while, I'm going to be trying not to use in my builds actively. I'm going to be, no, Mariah, you cannot use those. Put away the fairy lights, step away. But as of right now, I'm really liking the way that they look. So there are some fairy lights covering that window in there. It's really just a nice option to have something like that in the game, because there are times I feel like where curtains don't exactly work very well. I mean, they fit, but in this case, they would have covered too much of that wall in the bedroom, and I just really didn't like the way that they looked. But fairy lights, in that sense, kind of give the illusion of privacy because there is something covering the window, but it's not as intrusive as, say, like a curtain would be in this case. So I don't know. I just think they look nice, and they kind of fit with the springtime theme as well. They're all bright and colorful, all that good stuff. So just trying to figure out the color swatches for the walls of the apartment. I was trying to do something more than just white, because obviously the floor is very, very white. And there are splashes of it around the apartment that kind of intermingle with the color. But I ended up doing some more textured white walls throughout the apartment just to kind of break up the color a little bit. Actually, this corner that we're working on now, where the desk and the painting area is, the easel, all that, it is probably one of the areas in the apartment that is lacking color out of everywhere else. So I didn't think it looked too bad to just kind of have some lighter color back in through there as well. Just putting a little, that ice cream neon sign up there. I think that's from to work, possibly. I've never used it in a build actually, and I thought it worked really well with this apartment. I won't call this like a pastel apartment. I think it's more like floral tones, but bright, spring, you know, all of the above. It's all that good stuff. Yeah, just throwing up that little flag decoration item there a second ago. Just like I said, that corner was looking a little bland for me, just the way that the wall coloring worked out with the white there behind it. So I was like, you know, hey, those little flags there, it worked perfectly. I actually off camera ended up putting one in the bathroom as well, because I kind of felt the same way, that there wasn't a whole bunch of color going on and that it needed just a little more, you know, just a little more. So we are about on to the screenshots. Actually, there they are right there. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I appreciate you all so much. I think I've said this in like every video here recently, but all the love that you guys have shown me here recently and just the first couple of weeks that I've started a YouTube channel have been, it's just overwhelming to me. It's so cool to be able to interact with you guys, and I appreciate every comment that you leave, every like that you drop on the video, and I really just appreciate you watching, actually. It makes my day, honestly. So I hope you're having the best of days, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye!